murder. Anyway, Brooks's new girlfriend, also named Kristen, she was arrested for stealing a 17,000 son.
I just woke up. As I was going about my night, my friend sent me this Reddit post on r/internet mysteries, saying that he found it interesting. I looked over it, and the first thing that I saw when I clicked it was a video titled, "I Will Die." I saw this and I had so many questions like, who is she? Why did she do this? And is she actually dead? And because of this, I did a bit of digging. Disclaimer, I'll be briefly going over things since I don't really know the full story, but I will just be documenting what I found. Trigger warning for death topics and stuff like that. Now when I saw this, my main question that was boiling in my head was why? Now this video was posted under the channel Monster Mom, aka anne-kristine, a channel with 2.79 thousand subscribers from Copenhagen, Denmark. And because of how small it is, it went under the radar for so many people and not a lot of info is online about her. Based on just looking at her channel, she posts a lot of questionable content. From what I'm seeing, it's mainly just a bunch of fetish content, and I don't know if I can do any more digging after this. Before going on a run about posting stuff about her feet and dentures, she actually posted normal daily life stuff, ASMR, and very interesting story times. I don't know how to explain the type of content, but it's like stuff a Facebook mom would post, but just on YouTube. Anyways, when you start to look around, you'll find her bio, which has her other socials like Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and her website, and Facebook. Her website is inactive now, but looking on the Wayback Machine, you can find only one archive of it, since the other 5 don't work. For me at least, maybe I'll try again, like as I'm editing. And I can't lie, there's nothing too special going on. But something that stood out to me is how she mentioned abusive relationships. Keep that in mind though. Looking on her Instagram, there's a lot of posts of her and just pictures of her. But if you scroll all the way down, maybe to the middle, she has a few posts of supposedly her children and mentioned how she's a single mother with kids. She currently has 2, one being a boy and one being a girl. It's unknown if there's anyone else. In her captions, as any other mother would, she always mentions how her kids are the one thing that means a lot to her. Now, I don't want to come to conclusions just yet, but the fact that there's no obituaries that can be found of her online makes it seem like something happened between her and her kids perhaps. I don't know, that's my theory for now. Her kids were the only thing why she woke up and fought for her life. Now, kids aside, I was scrolling through her Instagram page hoping I can find something, and I did. As I was looking at the posts, there was one thing that stood out to me on her Instagram though, and it was the comments. In her comments, there's one account that always comments, and this is NekoCat76. And looking at this page, it's also her? I initially thought it was actually someone else based on the most recent post, but looking more at it, there are only posts of herself throughout the whole thing. She posts like she's someone completely different, and even has conversations with herself with her main account. Now, digging through NekoCat76, I found another account commenting, and it's her again? Bro, this just keeps getting deeper. Unfortunately, the account is private and I'm not able to access it. So this is pretty much a dead end until it somehow goes public or someone following can archive the posts. Going back to NekoCat account, I decided to just explore, see what I can find, and scrolling to the bottom, looking at the oldest posts, I found this one. A post about her first daughter dying to leukemia. Now, jokes aside, you know, rest in peace to the girl. She's not the one in the photo, as she says, but it is unfortunate that stuff like this happens, you know. But from what I see, this is another factor to what led up to her final video on her YouTube. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. Now, this NekoCat account, I found it a little weird because on her main account, her most recent post mentions rest in peace NekoCat76. That made me question it a bit because I didn't know if it was actually her or not. But yeah, ever since her last live stream on YouTube, she has been inactive on all platforms, even NekoCat. And that's what actually led me to believe that she's actually dead. Zero activity on all platforms, and it's just unfortunate that it had to come to an end like this. And my main theory of the reason why there are no obituaries of her online is that something happened between her and her kids. And that's probably what built up to her final moments. Okay, scratching most of what I said, I'm actually kind of fucking stupid. I kind of forgot to peep her live videos on her channel, and now it kind of makes more sense of what the reason was. Oh yeah, hey, it's me from the future. Yeah, I kind of missed dropping last Monday, but whatever. Going back to YouTube and looking at her live videos, her 5 most recent live streams instantly caught my attention. But first, let's start with a live stream before, where she addresses what happened from the beginning.
But it have been not so nice, and I came home, and I suddenly just couldn't do anything. I couldn't cook, I couldn't, the simplest thing.
In this live, she talks about how she was diagnosed with 2 things. First being depressed, and then she was put on medication, and this did nothing but turn her into a zombie pretty much. The second being something, maybe cancer, I don't know. But she says it in her language, and she forgot to translate it to English beforehand. But she does mention how it spread to the bone.
I one day can't walk or, so yeah, it's okay. I'm more afraid to lose my hands because I paint, and it can take years, and maybe they find a cure, as if. Anywho,
that's really the most important points of the beginning of this live. Fast forward 11 months later.
I'm so unlucky, 35,000 Danish kroner.
In this live, you could tell that she looks very different from what she looked like previously. She talks about her sickness and cooks, while obviously being under the influence. I can't lie, I can't hear anything that she's saying because of the loud music in the background, but seeing this, it seems like she knew that she would die soon from her disease. Later at the hour 57 mark, she mentions how it has been 3 weeks since she had been able to walk, and talks about her dying.
It's only 3 weeks ago I was able to walk. Not so good, but on my own. Now I have to have a cane, a stick. It's really nice to be dying, and be yelling at, and I've been mocked, stolen from. People have cheated me. People have discarded me. Especially men, because they found out, I don't want to fuck with them, I thought they were my friend, but no. Yeah.
Now, this one is odd, since there's little to nothing happening throughout the live stream, except panning to 2 guys throughout the full 2 hours of it, with low volume. I can't hear anything. And this was posted 4 days after her previous one. The most important part of this, though, is the description, where she just goes off on these guys. It seems like these guys was trying to scam Anne for her couch and fridge, as she was trying to sell them for money. The problem is that she is quote-unquote limb, probably meaning that she's near disabled or impaired. And this is where she mentions her drug usage. She talks about how she had to sell drugs and use to reduce her pain instead of using in order to spend her last time with her kids. Now, for the people in the video, the guy on the left, she believes is innocent, while the guy on the right seems to have threatened and stole money from Anne. They cost her around 50,000 DKR, which is almost 8,000 USD. And the problem is, she can't make it back because every day she gets more and more sick. To me, I'm seeing a lot of betrayal, and it seems like it's literally shortening and taking away from the life that she wanted to live the rest of, with her kids. And I quote, "That's why you don't get high on your own supply and be sharp when doing business." I can't lie. She seems like a pretty cool person after seeing how she sees the better in situations. 6 days later, she goes live again with the title mentioning her autistic daughter and suicidal son. She seems pretty alive in this one.
Okay. How the what? I don't have energy.
She also even talks about her ex in this one, which she mentions was abusive to him.
He was there when everyone, including my family, foster family, friends, everyone, not my best friend Ulrik, but everyone else just left me, where I was on my knees, I with depression and post-traumatic stress, and I just was told that I was dying, And one is to hear that you're sick and you can die, but to feel it, to see the test result getting better day by day. That's scary, okay? And he was the only one who was there for me when I needed it most, because he's a very great man. Yes, abusive relationship, but it's the drugs, okay? And his past. If you're a man who abused women, you know why. And women, we also have to take responsibility for our own actions.
And I also picked up on this earlier where she mentioned on her website about abusive relationships. 11 days after the stream, she goes live with a video titled, "I Am Dying."
I never tried this. What is this? Oh my god, I don't know what I'm saying,
In this one, you can visually tell that she looks worse from the last one, looking like she's in a lot of pain. Anne either talks to the camera or herself, but it's difficult to pick up on what she says. The whole 4-hour long stream is just her in a lot of pain, occasionally talking to the camera and even doing drugs halfway. On the same day, she starts another live and it's just mostly the same stuff as the other one. Just staying in bed, and you can visually see her pain. And now, all these events lead to her final live stream. 2 days later, she went live and posted her final video. I kind of made another mistake. I just woke up. I'm editing right now and it's Valentine's Day, and I realized that I forgot to look at the actual Reddit post since I didn't think it would be that significant. But when I briefly looked at it, there seems to be somewhat of a conclusion of like what happened. First of all, it wasn't clear if she actually died, but according to But according to a journalist who lives in the same city as Anne, she actually did pass away. When they first saw this post, they decided to do some research on the story. The journalist mentions how, in the Danish parts of her streams, Anne mentions how she started to take illegal drugs for her pain and has already OD'd once. This information I initially missed out on because of the language barrier. There's a lot of more personal information that she shares in the streams, but I respect the poster for not including it. Another person in the comments mentions how they found Anne's Facebook, and it reveals that the condition that she had was fibromyalgia, hepatitis, depression, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. But pretty much, it makes the immune system attack moisture glands in the body, therefore making it very dry. This is why you can see Anne get fatigued and visibly worse as the live streams continued. But yeah, according to a journalist, they reached out to a friend of Anne's and did confirm that she had indeed passed away. Her YouTube seems to be a diary since it seemed like she knew she was going to die for a while, and she wanted to leave her place on the internet, either for her kids or for other people to see. But on a brighter note, they mentioned how Anne got to travel to her birth country, Japan, which I do actually remember her mentioning from the live streams. And she was able to do this before she got too sick. She was able to see her dream places, and she was so happy that she was able to see her biological mother. Whoa, the sun just came out. But yeah, I'm going to be spending my Valentine's Day editing this video, so yeah. Now, I just want to say, if you're struggling to quit with any substance, just know that you should actually reach for help. And it always depends because everyone has a different situation. I just feel like everyone deserves a life to live. And it's just unfortunate, like, what happened to Anne-Kristine, because she was struggling with kids that also had problems too. And it seems like a lot of her life was just very problematic or just going down. And it's just unfortunate how people weren't there for her in the end and she couldn't get the help that she actually needed. And this could also apply to mental health too. But yeah, it's better to catch it early than get help later on. So if you're struggling with something like this, please get help now. A helpline, I'll put it up on the screen. But yeah, I just believe everyone should have a fair chance in life. Now, in all seriousness, I could just be speculating too hard. But it's just that I wanted to document this since there's little to no info that you can find online about her. And it's just kind of weird that stuff like this just comes and goes. I just wanted to shed some light to this situation because maybe some people out there might know more than me. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted. Maybe I'll do an update video once I find more information. If I missed information, I'm sorry. But yeah, just correct me in the comments if you guys find anything more interesting. Maybe I'll do an update video. I mostly wanted to do this so bigger YouTubers can do a bit of research on it, but it's nothing too much, like, it's nothing too crazy. New videos every Monday. I hope this is posted on a Monday. Please subscribe if you're new here. Like, I try my best to make things interesting for y'all. And, you know, I try my best. Thank you guys.
it's when you're going to die, you really figure out who's your real friends and who's not, you know? And I don't know. Just cherish your life, please, okay?